What's up, everybody?
Yep.
Welcome to the show. I hope our audio levels are chilling. Me and Corin, every time we use some technology, it's like we're 570 years old and don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Always, thank you guys for bearing with us.
Yeah, but I mean, this program is actually pretty good, pretty easy, but you know, anything is going to be difficult because we're 1,000 years old. You know?
Yeah, I can't figure shit out. They, my daughter sent, like, her teacher sent home this like app thing that you had to scan, and me and Molly couldn't figure that shit out, and literally wrote back on the paper like, "What is this?" ? She was like, "You got to down." Like it was like going notes back and forth each day. She was like, "You got to download this app," and I was like, I tried hard. I downloaded the app, tried to like lock in and figure it out, and for the life of me, I couldn't. And there was like 3 different apps. Like one was like whatever it was called plus, one had like a different type of photo, and I was like, "Oh, like just put a picture of the shit that I need to download."
I'm even more of a hardliner than you. Like, we have the same problem when it comes to like the kids and their different activities. It'll be one app for this, one app for that. You got to use the group chat in this app, and you got to do this and that app. And Crystal handles all of the shit. Like,
shout out Crystal.
Still, you know, she says it all the time too. She's like, "This is so stupid. Like, why can't we just have like here's a group text message, which everybody has text messages, and it'll just go right. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? It's not necessary. It makes me yearn for the days like way back in the day. You have to go to a bank to like physically cash your check to get cash in your hand, and then just go like use your cash like that. Like now it feels like there's
today that like there was an ice cream truck at my daughter's shit, and I was like, "Oh, I might even get an ice cream cone." Like I got a little bit of cash in my pocket. This shit said no cash accepted.
Come on, man.
And like I don't have my credit card on my phone. Like I don't have the tap to do the thing and the like Apple, all that shit. I couldn't buy the ice cream cone. Like dude lost out on 2 ice cream cones because I walked up to the window like, all right, like I got cash. This is what's up. I'm actually gonna buy it. This shit said we don't accept cash. I was like, you're a hood ice cream truck. Like, where are we?
Literally, it's usually the opposite, right? It's usually like we only accept cash.
Yes. That's like I didn't even know what to do. Like luckily his shit was kind of slayed. He didn't really have all the bangers in like his ice cream arsenal. He had like he had a chocolate chip cookie sandwich that was kind of talking to me that day, but it was like $4.50, and it was one of those small joints because I saw someone just got it. But all his other joints were slayed. He didn't have like any of the like bangers. And I was like, all right, at least I get to keep like $9 because 1, it's dumb expensive, and 2, how is someone supposed to pay his shit? Like luckily people can't get robbed anymore because everyone's like, you're just gonna take someone's cell phone and try and like break into it for the money.
Yeah, I guess that's the argument as to why it should be the way that it is. But then your shit just gets hacked. You know, like there's all these stories about like 7 trillion social security numbers have been hacked and 58,000 people's bank account information just went to Thailand. And you're like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do about any of that? Like, it makes you feel like, I always said this, and this is like a boomer ass take, but I'm always like, I don't like putting my information into multiple websites online, right? Like the one shit where it's unavoidable, everybody's got an account, they took over the world, they won, it's over, is Amazon. Everybody's got their shit in Amazon. But outside of Amazon, if it's some random ass website, like I want like a nice fresh new pair of Jordans, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna put my information in this random ass website that's selling the Jordans. Like, why the fuck? Isn't that crazy? But then I see everybody else I know is like, yeah, I'll buy this shit, and it's just do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like, not for nothing, I put my I put my information in some shady shit. But I always feel like I'm protected somehow. Like I don't know if it's the iPhone protecting me, but like I get some weird pop-ups that I'm like, luckily, knock on wood, I've never been victim of like a Facebook joint. I've had family members that like my mom, I've had cousins that like they get spammed out, and you clearly see like there's a new friend request that comes in, or you'll get you could just tell they got hacked. And I don't know how they get hacked. Because I'm getting pop-ups too.
Phishing scams are big. So like phishing scams, they'll send you an email that's like, oh, your Amazon account has been hacked. Yeah. Like to save it, log in here and change your password. but when you're like putting in your password, you're just giving your password away.
Yeah.
Right. And it'll make it look like a legitimate Amazon email, but it's not a legitimate Amazon email. Guys, old people get scammed like crazy, dog.
That's true.
Like this shit. I remember back during Crystal always tells the story. Back during the Obama era, her dad would be like, I got an email that says he's a Muslim Marxist.
I clicked on it.
And I got an email that says that Michelle Obama's a man. And old people are they're used to growing up in like a high trust society where everybody knows each other and everybody trusts each other. So they think if Bob's sending me an email saying that it's been exposed that Obama is a Kenyan Marxist, then he's a Kenyan Marxist. Like, what do you? Of course, that Bob said it. It's got to be true. And this is kind of what we're dealing with too with politics in this country. Is people have lost their goddamn minds. I don't know if you get these. Have you ever gotten those insane Democratic fundraising text messages? I get them all the fucking time, and I never donated that much. I only donated to like maybe 3 or 4 politicians in my life, right? Bernie Sanders, of course, being like the number one.
I get Bernie.
And Bernie made a point. Bernie made a point of like, I'm not going to give your information to other, whatever Democratic campaigns, the DNC, etc. Yep. And I think he stuck by that for a while, but I think eventually he caved.
Oh, really?
And then he gave his shit. Yeah, and so now I get text messages for all these races all across the country, and I get like 7 of them per day. They just did a story. CNN did a story the other day about how like there's these old people who basically have dementia, and they get conned into giving away like hundreds of thousands of dollars to Trump and Republicans.
Anybody who gives to a text message, I want to put my hand through their phone and smack them solely very hard in the face, because those shits are like, donate now 10 times your money. Like it's the messages they put on there are the most obvious, like dumbest, like uncreditable type of text message that if someone saw that and they're like, oh, today's 10 times, it's like, oh, Kamala is not going to win Pennsylvania. So like the shit that I read is kind of like, if anyone fell for this, like they should lose their money, because like it's so blatantly obvious that for someone to click on one of those text messages, and to your point, they don't stop. It's insane how many come through, and it's like they just keep coming. And I read one person, I think one, I might have tweeted it or something, but he was like, if you block like unknown senders, but sometimes I'll get a text from someone who I don't have their number, and I don't want to like block everybody's shit. Like say you got a new number and you're like, yo, this is my new number. That if I hit whatever that person suggested, I would never get your message, So like it'd win a majority of the time, but I do still get some text messages from people who I don't have their number, or I might have met someone like in high school and I just never saved their number. Like it's just in my phone as their number, and that's just how their phone number is in my phone. So I'll always just have to scroll back up to the top of the text to be like, who is this again? Oh, okay, it's Ricky. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I've had some funny ass names in my text.
I've seen some of yours,
like saved in my phone.
But do you, when you get someone's number, do you automatically put a name to it?
Well, first of all, I haven't taken a number in like 500 years, but when I did, if I knew the name, I put it in right away. If I didn't know the name, I wouldn't put shit in, and later I would just put like, dude, I see in between second and third period who's kind of okay. But yeah, to your unknown point, like I have that shit set up where the numbers I don't know, they all go into the unknown folder. And so what happens is it automatically goes into that folder, but every now and then I'll go pop in there and just delete shit or check or whatever. And that's the fucking Democratic fundraising text. And it's like, fuck you. They need to regulate that shit, man.
There's got to be something against that.
There's old, gullible-ass people, too. Like we were saying, like, old people don't know. They don't have, like, so here's the media literacy 101 or, like, modern technology literacy 101 is whenever you see some shit, disregard it. Like, that's literally every lesson. The whole shit is if you get an email you don't know. If you get a text message you don't know, if you get somebody saying some shit that sounds semi-plausible and maybe real, that shit is not real. Like, that's the whole shit. And it's our generation and younger. They all got it, right? Like, they might fall for some love type scam, right? Like, what's that called? Catfishing or whatever the fuck. They might fall for that. but because they're fucking, you know, like lonely or whatever, but they're not going to fall for some scam shit.
No.
But it's got to be regulated. Like, they got to chill with these fundraising text messages. Like, for the love of God, just do clean elections where everybody gets a set amount if you run for office, and then you run and base it off your ideas. But begging people for money 24/7, whether it's small dollar donors or big donors, like, the whole system is fucked when you do that.
Yeah, but I feel like that's one that the political system would never pass a bill for that, because Republicans and Democrats both benefit from that shit.
That's right.
I mean,
yep.
One, they want real donations. They probably care if you're getting scammed, but if they were to pass something where they could potentially lose out on money, they definitely won't pass that shit. You know, like, that's almost some bipartisan shit where they're just like, Democrats and Republicans are getting fucked over. So, like, let's just kind of keep it as it is, because we can still mass send out our donation text and email and shit like that. And also the commercials are OD. Like, I can't wait and just till the election cycle is over, because there's a commercial that runs literally every 2 seconds when it's AOC and she goes, Mondaire Jones. Like, and so every time I'm in my kitchen, I hear like, Mondaire Jones. And I'm like, this fuck, like, I almost want to, I don't know if Mondaire Jones is good or not. I think he was. And then, like, I think he said some weird shit about Jewish people one time or something like that in Westchester. And I think Jed and Davina kind of got tight at him. But just because I hear his name like that every 2 seconds, I kind of don't want to vote for the motherfucker.
Yeah, he was good, and then he lost his election.
Oh, really?
And then he started, like, saying some wild shit to try to get in a different district and win, and it might be the district that you're in. But yeah, like, so we don't in Virginia.
Oh, so wait, so he's running in a different district than something he lost in?
So he used to be the district that represented me when I was in New York all the time in Rybrook in Westchester County. And then now he's more your district where you are.
Oh, wow. So that's kind of crazy you can do that.
Exactly. Well, what they do, they kind of fucked him over by what they do is they do gerrymandering and they change the map. Right. And when they're making, like, the new lines, they have in mind, like, we want to protect this person, fuck this person, we don't care about them. And so he, for some reason, got on the shit list of, like, whoever was drawing the map. And so they were just like, fuck him, he's going to be gone. And now he's running again.
Wow.
But, I mean, yeah, so the whole shit is dirty as fuck. But, like, I got to show you that CNN story, man. It was crazy where they go and talk to these people, literally old people with dementia, and they're showing them, like, you know, you gave $450,000 to the Trump campaign within the past, like, 6 years.
Jesus.
And he was like, oh, no, I didn't know. I donated once. And they have what they do is they have the box automatically checked for auto pay. Oh. So if you donate once, it's automatically checked.
I get got with that on apps and stuff, like, and I have to remember.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, you know, when you sign up for a free trial, like, I've done this with, like, Netflix or whatever, because I know, like, I actually do want to get it. So, but you'll sign up and you'll think I'm getting a month free trial, but you would have to unclick it to make it so they don't start taking shit out of your account.
They're definitely not
when
going
you're done
back
with that free trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the whole system is fucking just disgusting.
That's so grimy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, and it's just not like it used to be back in the day, the high trust society shit. Like, everybody hates everybody. Everybody's skeptical of everybody. Like, this where everybody's getting robbed 50,000 different ways and getting scammed 50,000 different ways. Like, I thought, okay, this is how naive I am, Corin. I remember, like, when I was a kid, you'd get a whole bunch of, like, spam phone calls, right? And then I sort of vaguely remember them doing something about it and cracking down on it, and then you just didn't get spam phone calls anymore. But then now, all that shit came roaring back at 100 miles an hour. Like, the scammers are going to find a way to scam, and they kept fucking scamming. And now they do it with text messages, they do it with phone calls, they do it with emails. Yep. You know
I don't pick up any phone calls. I appreciate I appreciate the Scam Likely that iPhone does. That's a nice one to at least, like, let you know the shit could be fake. But it's too much. It's like the text messages are like, I think I'm going to put that setting on. And then if there's a way to go into the folder,
there is, and it's worth it. I'm telling you, because you don't want to. If you see something, you're like, I don't need to see that now. You know what I'm saying? So I have known, unknown, etc. And I barely look in the unknown ever. What I don't do is hit stop. A lot of people hit.
Oh, that's
Crystal told me she does this.
I tell this to Molly too. When you get a Scam Likely call and you hit the end button before the shit is done ringing, they know your phone is live and active, and you're gonna get like put back on the more call list. So like, yeah, anyone responding stop is like that. That's another gotcha.
So I'm talking about the political text message.
That's what I'm saying. Anyone who responds stop, stop is keep going in their language.
They legally have to take you off the list.
That shit means like we're gonna hit you with 9,000 more of those shits.
But she tells me that she's good. She doesn't get anywhere near as much as I do.
For real?
My shit will blow up 7 times a day leading up to the election, and her shit hardly ever.
I feel if I get a text message that like is like Trump, like it says some wild ass shit, and then it's like press stop to stop this, like that whatever scam phone line is gonna be like, okay, let's respect the guy's wishes. Like the messages are wild.
I think it's a law. I think it's
Trump's got a huge dick. Donate today to make it even bigger. Press stop to not get any more messages like this. And it's like
press stop to not make his dick any bigger.
Like if I respond stop to one of those like Trump's dick is too big text messages, like God bless those companies if they really respect your wishes to not get any more of those text messages.
I'll ask Crystal when we get off the air, but I think she says she gets nowhere near as many as I do because once you hit it, at least for the political ones, because the political ones are a little different from pure scams.
Saying,
like they're actually trying to fundraise.
But you gotta agree there's a political level. Like there's probably some real shit that's like, hey, like she's probably a part of some valid shit where it's like, hey, this is the Bernie Sanders campaign shit, press stop to opt out of this. You press stop to that, they might actually stop. But the big dick Trump and the wrinkly dick Bernie text messages, they're not stopping. That like she's got to agree that like there's definitely some scam shits that even if you press stop to it, they're gonna send your shit out to more, more scam phone numbers.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know the exact rules. If it's like a super PAC, maybe they'll do that. Like they'll not listen. But if they're a campaign, maybe they listen. I don't know.
Because even car dealerships, like I try to go to like Chevy emails me all the time, and I'm like opt out or like shit that's verified, and they just keep saying like there's got to be some loophole where it's like even if you press stop sending it, we're gonna find a way to send you like a discount email, which is different from like the marketing emails that you've just opted out. Like even if you hit all these emails, they'll find a way to be like, oh, well, this email was for a checkup on your car, so technically it doesn't fall into the category of XYZ. I don't know. All that shit is shady.
And how does that like? I don't even understand because even if they send like 1,000 emails or text messages or whatever, what are you getting like 2 people for every 1,000 shit you send to do anything? Like, what are you wasting your time for?
I don't know.
Right? It's just crazy.
All those emails.
We got to talk about the Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I mean like the emails suck and like customer service lines suck because like I feel like with as many like if immigrants want jobs, they should go just work like customer service answering phones for companies because you can't get in touch with like a live representative anymore.
Yeah, no, but they don't want to hire anybody for that. They literally want to like certain fields. They're just like, we're done with that one existing. Like, let's just make this a robot, and that's what's happening with customer service. And by the way, on the list of shit you should make like robots, that's dead last because everybody wants to talk to a person who can be like, yeah, I'll help you with the shit. I'll figure it out. When you're talking to a robot, you're like, motherfucker, I pressed 7, do the shit I said, and it doesn't do it.
And I feel like it's gotten a lot worse. Either wait times are mad long or you can't even like find a number for some companies now. Like there's some shit where it's like you Google like I think Venmo, you can't get in touch with. Oh no, it's what's the shit where you stay at someone's house? Airbnb. I don't think has like a live representative, and I think it was like I don't know if it was like for your shit when we were out there or something. I was trying to get in touch with them, or someone I knew was trying to get in touch with them. It was just like you can't ever get a hold of like a customer service person. So that's why people go to like Twitter and tweet shit, and sometimes you get a response from a company. Other times like you don't even hear it all.
Yeah, certain shit, that should be a law that with certain shit you can't just leave it alone. You can't just be like, you literally can't get in contact with anybody at all from our company.
It's just like
that's crazy. Insane.
Like the first 100 gifts will be triple matched, but it's only running until 10:59.
Like who's saying, okay, here's my credit card information? Like what the fuck, bro? Jesus Christ. That shit is crazy.
Speaking of that, we have a mutual friend. Well, you might know him, but he was a Marine, Mike. he was at my bachelor party, but he sent me a text and was just like, how's Kyle's confidence? Because we're freaking out over here. And he's in Portland. So Portland is like a place where you should be kind of freaking out.
It's funny because my sister just texted me the exact same shit because her husband was like, I think Trump's going to win. That's what her husband said. And so I was like, no, right now I'm actually feeling the opposite.
For real?
I'm feeling the opposite right now. Yeah, so like I was just going to bring this up. We have a group chat going with our boy, and earlier we were talking about the Trump MSG rally.
Yeah, wow.
Right?
Wild sight to see.
And, you know, you and me were saying similar things, but then, you know, he's not as political as you and obviously not as political as me. And he was just like, yeah, I don't know, man. Jokes are jokes. Like, why can't people, like, joke around anymore? And, like, here's the thing. It is the final stretch of the election, right? And just so everybody knows, me and Corin are recording this the day after that Trump MSG rally, just so everybody knows. And, like, so here's Trump's problem. People view him as extreme. That's how he's viewed. And I say that because in 2022, in the midterms, all of the candidates who were most connected to Trump lost by the biggest amount, right? He overturned Roe v. Wade. He keeps denying the 2020 election. So his biggest problem is that when people look at him, they go, he's sort of chaotic and kind of wild and kind of extreme. Like, he's not like a moderate, calm dude, right? And so he was trying to combat that by, like, going on Rogan's podcast, for example, and just, hey, look, man, I'm not a fascist. Yep. I'm not crazy. I'm just chilling, talking to Joe. Like, what? You don't have anything to worry about with me, bro. You know, I'm good. So that's what his campaign was trying to get out there. But then they do the MSG rally the next day. And every single fucking headline coming out of that thing is like,
racist motherfucker.
Douchebag McGee says the most racist shit you've ever heard in your life. But LOL, it's a joke, so I guess it's okay. And it's like, no, all the moderates, all the independents, all the apolitical people, all the swing voters, like every normal person watching that was like, I don't know, dog. I don't know about this. And then you see Kamala, and Kamala's just doing some normal ass shit. And you're like, who do you want? Do you want a steady hand of leadership, or do you want some fucking psycho who's, bro, the jokes he was telling, like, okay. And then he did the bullshit of like, bro, I'm just a comedian. Everybody relax. Like, bitch, get in the comedy club. Yeah. Man. Get in the fucking comedy. If you're a comedian, get in the fucking comedy club. You are at a campaign rally campaigning for Donald Trump. You are now expressly political. You can't just be like, you can't say shit against me now because I'm a comedian. No, bitch. That's not a get out of jail free card. And then the other thing is like, oh, I'm just joking. No, you're not. This shit, you meant the shit you said.
100%.
All that shit you meant that shit. You meant that Puerto Rico's a pile of garbage. You meant the shit about black people carving watermelons instead of pumpkins. You meant the shit about, he had some joke about Latinos like, oh, they don't pull out.
I saw that.
They love coming inside just like they come inside our country or some shit. And it's just like, are we past this yet? The like 14-year-old 4chan type humor of like, bro, I'm edgy. I said some edgy shit, bro. Look at me. It's like, nobody cares, dog.
That was one.
You sound weird.
That was one where, the whole site of just MSG, like, and everybody outside there, like pro-Trump, like, was just a wild scene. And like the fact that, like, I think it's fair for them to compare that shit to when like Hitler went there back in the day and do the whole like Nazi shit. Like, Trump has done similar shit and like preaches the same rhetoric as like Hitler did. Like the thing with Tony was kind of like, I was just so confused. And I agree with you. Like, every comedian always uses this. Like, I'm just a comedian. Rogan says this. He wants to like be on the aisle of like, I could say something like intelligent and get a good point across, and you listen to my podcast and I have all these intelligent people on, and that's why we're the best. But then if he says something wrong or everybody comes against him, it's like, hey man, this is just a comedy podcast, man. Like, I'm just a comedian. Don't come to me for my like, you can't have it both ways. And that's the same shit with Tony. One, you would think all these guys have had friends who've been canceled. And Rogan seems like he's a very like good head on his shoulders, understands like how the media works, how it doesn't work. Tony's like apology, kind of like try to wiggle his way out of it, was like the book on how not to combat your shit. Because one, he was like, he basically was using like, I have a black friend card by saying like, I go to Puerto Rico. Like, like, one, you're not going back there because if you do, it's a wrap. Two, though, like, I'm just a comedian is like, you can't use that. To your point, you're at a political rally, so that's like a wrap. And then he's like trying to attack AOC and Tim Walz for like talking about that shit. He was like, he just did everything completely wrong. And read the room too. Like every joke you were saying, nobody was fucking with. So maybe after the first one, just be like, all right, maybe this isn't my crowd. You know, like the roast of Tom Brady's fine. You want to say edgy shit and wild shit?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it, man. You're on Netflix. Who cares? Tom Brady's a quarterback. But you're at a presidential rally. Like, I don't care all of the people he has up there. It was just wild. And I have like a lot of Puerto Rican friends, and they were tight, bro. And like, I know I mentioned this in the past that like I thought, and I still kind of think Trump's going to win, but the pendulum has swung way back. And I think Tony Hinchcliffe is the main reason why if Trump loses, I swear it's because of that motherfucker. Like, that was bad.
There are hundreds of thousands of Puerto Rican voters in Pennsylvania, which is like the most crucial swing state. And that's why, by the way, afterwards, the Trump campaign released a statement like, this does not represent our campaign's position.
I mean, it's too late
Rican.
even after those,
of course it is, but it's just like, it just goes to show you that when they do that shit of like, bro, I'm just telling jokes, bro, what's the big deal, bro? Even Trump was like, I'm against that. I don't like that. So it's like, okay, what is Trump now canceling you now? Is that what? No, it's like they want to be canceled too. Is the thing, Corin? Like
Trump and them?
Because then they all the comedians. Because then they go around and they play the victim.
Yeah, and
they get like they like rally support for them. Like, bro, I'm just a truth teller, and everybody.
But I don't
else
even think
just,
like I don't think people want to. Like, I don't even think people want to support Tony after that one. Like, he's not even like a supportable dude, you know, he's just like a corny, skinny, like.
Bro, you want to be brave? Go in there, go into a Trump rally, and roast Trump.
Yeah.
And roast other Republicans, right? If you want to be brave, you want to do the whole thing like, bro, comedians are truth tellers or whatever. Okay, go in there and say some shit against Trump or other Republicans or the military-industrial complex or big money in politics or the evangelical Christian freaks who were on the stage before you calling Hillary Clinton the Antichrist and the devil. Say some real shit. No, you went up there, and who are your targets? All of the specific groups that MAGA already hates. They don't like black people. They don't like Latinos, right? So, like, it's just so weaselly to say it, and then when he gets criticism, try to like deflect.
Let's say out of context. Like, bro, that wasn't out of context.
No, it was not out of context. Say it with your chest. Be like, yeah, I think. Because remember when Trump, this happened a long time ago, Trump called like a whole bunch of countries shithole countries.
Yeah.
He was talking about like Haiti and all these. And then all these conservatives were like, yeah, but he's kind of right, bro. Right? And so for Tony, okay, you made that joke about Puerto Rico being a pile of garbage, right? And then when people call you out on it, bro, it's just jokes.
I've been there.
No, you really feel like that shit, so say that shit with your whole chest.
Yep.
Stop being a bitch.
Yep.
You're fucking campaigning for Donald Trump. You obviously believe some shit about other races, right? You obviously believe that these other countries are not on par, and they're fucked up, right? So say it. Don't back off it now. Tell people what you really feel, and then run and hide in the corner when you get some fucking pushback. Say that shit.
Yeah.
But no, that's the thing, man. Like, so it wasn't just that. Who else spoke?
Dr.
Rudy
Phil.
Giuliani was there. Dr. Phil, Hulk Hogan was there.
Hulk Hogan was in New York at his?
Yeah. And so it was just like, here's the thing. It was MAGA on steroids. Yeah. And the problem for Trump is MAGA is your base that's never leaving. Everybody knows you got a big ass 30% of the country that's never going to leave your ass ever, ever, ever. We all know that. That rally was for those people. Motherfucker, your goal now is supposed to be to get the independents and the swing voters and the people who haven't made their mind up and the people who are sitting on the fence. And nobody's going to watch that fucking rally and go, yeah, that's the guy who should lead the fucking country.
Nobody's going to watch that, but like mad people came out for that shit though. And at least from like what I saw online, like I don't know the actual numbers, but like they kind of shut the city down with that. Like you can't like deny the fact that there was a lot of people there. And that says something about
his base, bro.
What happened?
It's his base. It's his base. Like, his base is never going to leave him. Everybody knows he's got a certain percentage, whatever you want to say it is, 20%, 30%, 35%. There's a number that's locked in that is never leaving him, right? I forget what he bottomed out at with his approval rating after January 6th, but whatever that number was is the number, probably 30, 35%. So, like, and those people fucking love
OD.
They ride or die, which is, to your point, why he can do an event in the middle of a super blue state, in the middle of a super blue city at Madison Square Garden, and he brings out all the Republicans. I'm not denying he's not popular with those people.
Yeah.
The problem is that number is not enough to win you the election. It's just not. It's just not. And so right now I'm feeling confident. I'm also feeling confident for other things that I read about what's happening with the early vote numbers. Kamala's early vote numbers in the blue wall states are really good. Kamala's early vote numbers in Nevada are really fucking good. There was a poll that just came out, an Ipsos poll, which had her up 4 nationally on Trump. And that poll before the 2012 election, when Obama won, had him up 3 over Romney.
Okay.
And then he ended up winning by 4.
Okay.
So there are things I'm seeing that are like really good signs. I also just think, and here's the part most people don't realize, is that like I have criticisms of her campaign and how she's running, but her campaign is way better than Hillary's, and her campaign is way better than Trump's. Trump is just like there's no charm to it anymore. In 2016,
it seems just wild. It seems like anyone who is popular can come out and say they like him, and they'll get a microphone at his rally, and that's what's wild, like, about the whole Tony thing is, like, I don't think Trump has a clue who Tony Hinchcliffe is, but he heard he's probably crazy popular, and he got the mic. It's like he had Antonio Bryant, Le'Veon Bell, and Mike Wallace, former Pittsburgh Steelers, in Pittsburgh, up there talking on the mic, and like maybe he knows who Antonio Bryant is, but those other two, he doesn't know who they are, but he knows they're popular Steelers, and they had the microphone. You think they vetted their speeches? It's just a free-for-all, and it's kind of scary because, I mean, it led to Tony saying that wild shit, and now they're probably going to start vetting people, but it's like anything can happen at these Trump rallies, like, and there's no vetting system, which is scary, and that's like the number one sign of like what his presidency will be. It's just like super chaotic. Anything, like something crazy can happen and slip through the cracks because nothing's getting vetted, and everything's just a shit show. At least like Kamala's is like, all right, Beyonce's gonna be here. It's gonna be some like mad security, like shit's gonna be like there's gonna be checks and balances. Whereas Trump shit, it's just wild. Like you don't know what's gonna happen at his like anything goes.
So there's reporting today that Tony also had a joke in his set where he called Kamala a cunt, and the Trump people caught wind of it, and they axed that joke. They were like, "You are not telling that joke."
They didn't see his other shit.
But the funny part, that's what I was gonna say. The funny part about that story is that means they saw the Puerto Rico's giant fucking garbage thing in the ocean. They were like, "That's fine." The shit about the black dude, he may have been riffing on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
But like all the other ones, fine. Like that's so crazy to me, bro. That's so crazy. It's just in 2016, he was sort of posturing like, look, I'm against the establishment, but what that means is I'm going to protect your jobs, I'm going to raise your wages, I'm against the corruption and the big money donors control all the other politicians and their puppets. I don't need that. I'm rich. I can get in here myself and fund myself and all. This is the shit he was saying, right? And it wasn't true. When he got in there, he was a standard scummy politician. But the way he postured in the campaign was like, damn, he's sort of making a good argument that Hillary's going to have a hard time fighting back against because Hillary was a career Washington insider, right? And these are all the red flags I talked about at the time, a lot of other people talked about at the time. This campaign, the shit he's talking about the most are like immigrants eating dogs and cats, shit. Which is made up. It's not happening. It's a Nazi lie that came from a group called Blood Tribe. He's saying shit like, I'm going to invoke the 1798 Aliens Enemy Act, which is a law that was used to do Japanese internment during World War II. He's saying I'm going to do mass deportation.
In fact, he even knows
people.
About that shit. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
He's talking about tariffs. He's talking about tariffs, which is just going to raise the prices of everything because he wants to tariff every good that gets delivered in the country. Like, there is no, like, he's not talking about wages. He's not talking about healthcare. He's not talking about corruption. He's not talking about anything that, like, lands. And then Kamala, for all of her flaws, there was we've been seeing some of the closing ads for her campaign in Virginia. There's an ad that she runs all the time. It's a good fucking ad, bro. She goes after Trump for cutting taxes for the rich. It shows Trump in the ad a picture of him with Elon Musk. It shows him a picture of him with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, the ad is like, this motherfucker's a corrupt billionaire and a sellout, and he's going to cut taxes for the rich, and he's going to fuck you over. I'm going to fight for working class families. I remember seeing that ad going, holy shit, they figured it out. Like, they figured out how to run against it.
I hope those work because, like I said, I'm voting for Kamala, but like I see these ads and I'm almost like I'm so turned off by them. I don't know how many people get turned off by just these ads every single day on their TV. You know, it's like if you're they're just too much, and if you're still relying on like an ad to sway you at this point, then I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
Well, also, I should point out, you know what Trump's closing ads are about? Trans people. Literally, his closing ads are like fear-mongering about trans people, like, men and women's sports, and look at these trans people. Like, Republicans tried this shit in 2022 in the midterms. They ran dozens of ads. Of course they did, because there's like, pick a state in the country. There's like 3 trans people in the whole fucking state who play a sport. Like, you're making a national issue out of some high school volleyball team, you fucking psychopaths. Nobody's thinking about this. Nobody cares about this. People want to know how they're going to pay for their food at the grocery store and fucking have health care and shit. So I'm telling you, man, right now, as of right now, I'm bullish on Kamala. If I had to bet right now, I would say Kamala's going to win. It's very possible that, the momentum can flip and there's still, a little over a week until the election. But everything I'm seeing now, I'm like, and the other thing is, I don't know why other people feel the opposite way. I really don't. Like, I know that, like Jank, for example, on the Young Turks, a lot of his commentary has been like hyper analyzing and hyper criticizing like Kamala's steps. Yeah. But he doesn't even like factor the way Trump is campaigning into his evaluation. There's this like sense of, by definition, the Republicans are always running a decent campaign and are being populist. And it's like, they're not doing that. So why are you not hyper-analyzing their campaign also? You know what I'm saying? So it makes me feel like, I don't know, it just makes me feel like people are not really being objective about it. Like, it doesn't feel like 2016 to me right now. It really doesn't.
I hope. I mean, the other thing that scares me too, and I just saw this earlier, was like, and I don't know, like, I feel like the news just finds stories shit like too to scare you, but this one is actually a reality. And I didn't know what, like the burning of like the early voting ballot boxes and shit like that. Like,
yeah, bro,
there's like real shit that's going on that is gonna really hurt, I feel like, the left wing and Democrats' chances of early voting. Because I mean, obviously, I think everyone knows that like early voting usually goes blue. It's like a big, Democratic whatever thing. It's like it's scary to think, and I don't know. I know we bring our ballots because we're gonna vote early. Bring our ballots to like one of those shits, and supposed to be like fireproof and all this stuff. But like, if you can hand it to your mailman or something like that, like, what's to say there's not going to be mad shady stuff going on with a lot of the early voting? And we're starting to see. And again, I don't know if these videos just come out and it's fabricated shit.
No, it's real.
It's real shit.
No, it's real.
But
I covered
but
it.
That's scary stuff because all those votes like are probably going to Kamala, and now either they're donezo, or like there's going to be crazy mailman or people out there that are right wing that are like, oh, early vote, this is probably going blue, ripped up, not going in, and that's going to fucking hurt a lot. Like, that's going to hurt her, I think.
So here's the thing. There is no happy ending because he's going to try to steal it.
Yeah,
he's broadcasting that he's going to try to steal it. And to your point, I covered one that was in Arizona where they burned, one of a whole thing of ballots. There was one in Washington State where they did it. I think there was maybe even one other. So, and then he's been going around saying, like, he's basically saying it's already guaranteed that I won. He's lying and saying there's a 93% chance I win. And so he's trying to lay the groundwork for if he loses to be like, nope, had to be stolen. And the other thing is, just like I warned everybody in 2020 about what's called the red mirage scenario, the exact same thing is likely to happen this time too.
What's that now?
That when the red mirage, and I explained this on Rogan on 2020 when it was like election night, I said the red mirage is...
Oh, I remember.
They count the ballots that you give in on election day. If you vote on election day, your ballot gets counted first. And those ballots are going to skew Republican because it's usually older folks and Republicans who go in on election day and cast their ballot. But at the beginning of the night, and if you remember in 2020, this was the case too.
Shook.
At the beginning of the night, everybody was saying, I think Trump's going to win. I think Trump's going to win. I think Trump's going to win. I remember Tim Dillon and Rogan, who were sitting there, were saying, it looks like Trump's going to win. But I had told them earlier in the night, I was like, listen, it's going to look like Republicans are winning. But then when they start counting the mail-in ballots, that gap is going to close. And almost certainly for 2020, because Biden was leading by a ridiculous amount in the polls, he's going to surpass Trump. He's going to surpass him. And then the question is, can he surpass him enough where he wins the Electoral College? So that's the red mirage. The exact same thing is likely to happen this time too. And so people are going to think, and this is what they do. They're fucking liars. They're charlatans. And they'll go out there and they'll say, no, we won. It's over. Wrap it up. It's done. Look, we're up by a lot. It's over. What do you get? Hey, if they win from now, you know something shady's happening. Trump was saying about the vote dumps at 3 a.m. They were dumping votes at 3 a.m. and they were flipping it. And there was all sorts of rigging and skullduggery. And then he's going to do the same shit this time. And so the problem is, if Trump wins, it sucks, and we're fucked because we get 4 more years of absolute chaos.
It's going to be chaos.
And if Kamala wins, he's still going to try to say he won.
100%.
And it doesn't matter. If she wins in a landslide, they'll say it's stolen. If she wins by a little bit, they'll say it's stolen. That's what they're going to do. And so that's why everybody's got to buckle up, because it is going to get hectic. It's going to get chaotic. There's no way. He's already broadcasting, I'm not going to accept it if I lose. Well, he doesn't have it in him to accept if he loses.
Even on Rogan's podcast, and granted, I haven't listened to the thing, but I saw the clip where someone commented like, Rogan laughs when Trump says he loses when he lost the election or something like that. And even to this day, he said like, oh, when I lost, I mean, when I won, like he still thinks he won. And for people to like, think Rogan did, he lies. But like for people to think that Rogan did a good job in that interview is crazy, because like, insane. You didn't even call him out on that right there. Like, and that's the biggest thing. Like, hey, sir, like, like put all the bullshit aside. Like, you lost that election, right? Like, there's not laughing in your face about that. Like, ha, yeah, you think you won. Like, no, let's start right now. Can you just confirm you lost the election? And if he says yes, then like I'll give you a little bit of credibility in an interview. But like the fact that he didn't even press that on him there, and then like afterwards he's like with his boys and they're all talking about like, did you ask him everything you wanted to ask him? He's like, yeah, I got everything out, and we asked him all these questions. And his boy was like, well, did you ask him why he was like pro-vaccine? He's like, no, I didn't get to that. It's like you didn't hit him with anything substantial. You let him do his weave. And you didn't press him on any of the stuff that you were trying to press him on. So, like, it was cool. Yeah, you could talk about you spoke to him for 3 hours, but you didn't accomplish anything substantial. He probably did a good job because there was mad views, but he's pandering to his base already. You know, it's just like people that wanted to hear and see that interview anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, you're right. It was embarrassing. Like, the whole fucking thing was embarrassing. Because I know independent media, everybody in independent media, we love to suck ourselves off and talk about how special we are and how much better we are than mainstream media and how we're serious and we're authentic and we're honest and we ask real questions and we're not like those corporate cucks over at CNN and MSNBC and all these other networks. But guess what? Joe Rogan just got the opportunity of a lifetime to sit across the table from the leading Republican Republican nominee, former president, maybe president again, was the most powerful man in the world, could be the most powerful man in the world again. And what did he do? He sucked him off for 3 hours straight. He sucked him off. And it's like, I get it, Joe. Like, this is not what you do. You don't ask tough probing questions. You don't grill people. I understand all of that, right? But guess what? That means you were right when you said previously, I don't have the tools to do this interview. The stakes are too high. I don't want to help the guy. You could end up inadvertently helping the guy. I don't know about the corruption and all the different allegations against him and what's real and what's not real. So it's just not in my skill set to be the one to sit across the table from him. And that's what he used to say when asked about Trump. And now he interviewed him, and it went exactly like old Joe Rogan criticized. Right? It went exactly like he feared it would go if he interviewed him. Because the amount of shit he didn't ask him. Could you imagine if it was a Democrat he was sitting across the table from, and that Democrat had 91 criminal charges against them, and they were a convicted felon? Would he sit there and play fucking patty cakes with them if he was sitting across the table?
He would have went through all 91.
Biden? That's what I'm saying. And so there were no hard questions. And to your point, this is actually a great point that I didn't even consider. Joe Rogan spent years with one of his main obsessions being the vaccine. Joe Rogan is not a fan of the COVID vaccine. You're sitting across the table from the guy who did Operation Warp Speed and developed the COVID vaccine, something I think he deserves a lot of credit for. But you, Joe Rogan, do not. You're against the vaccine. So you're sitting across the table from this guy.
You forgot to ask him that.
You have nothing to say about the thing. You were obsessed with that issue for 3 fucking years, and you got nothing to say about it. You got nothing to say about the lockdowns. You got nothing to say about the vaccine. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? He didn't ask a single question about corruption. Again, if it was a Democratic politician, a story came out the same week that Trump went on. A story came out that there was a model in 1993 who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein and Trump. She was taken to Trump. Exactly. She was taken to Trump, and Trump abused her, sexually assaulted her, grabbed her in all sorts of places. Afterwards, she went back to Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein pretended to be upset about it. When Jeffrey had bought this girl to Trump for that, she said it's like they were playing some sort of sick, perverse game, some like sexual abuse game. That story came out the same fucking week that Trump was on, didn't ask anything about it. And look, you can go, it's all the deep state, it's all bullshit. Okay, then why are there fucking 14 pictures of you hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? Why is there a video of you in a club with Jeffrey Epstein,
Did he even ask him
some
about
young
Jeffrey
girls
Epstein?
And saying, isn't that one hot? Nothing. Fucking nothing about Jeffrey Epstein, nothing about corruption. Trump's son-in-law took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. If Hunter Biden took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, that'd be the first fucking question. Nothing. Yeah, nothing on that. Nothing on the tens of millions of dollars he took from that Trump took from Saudi Arabia for the Live Golf tournaments. Literally nothing. There was nothing substantive, nothing serious, nothing about foreign policy that was intelligent, nothing about domestic policy. Like, it was just jacking him off the whole fucking time. Like, his first question, what was his first question? It was something
he was like trying to get an answer on like he said on like his first day as president, but never got that answer or something like that.
No, the first one was like, you've been attacked more than anybody else in a coordinated way. What's that like? It's like, oh my God. The idea, like, these people, it's funny because they accuse people like us of having Trump derangement syndrome. The real Trump derangement syndrome is what Rogan did in that interview. It's like every story about you that's negative is by definition fake news, and I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not going to ask about it. I'm not going to read about it. Do you think Joe Rogan read literally any of the indictments against Trump, of which many of them are publicly available?
No, definitely.
Where they literally lay out, point for point, the exact crimes he committed, like the fucking fake elector slates, where they wanted to pretend like they won the election and force Mike Pence to not certify Joe Biden and use their fake electors. Literally, they called Trump and his team internally were talking to each other. They called them fake elector slates. They have a conversation one time where they go, well, look, these wouldn't be alternate slates of electors because the secretaries of states and the governors already verified that Joe Biden won. So if we do this, this is illegal and these are fake electors. And they're like, okay, we're going to do it anyway. Did that come up? That didn't come up. That didn't come up. And it's like, you're a hack. I'm sorry, you're a hack. This is hack shit. You're not special because, I do a podcast instead of sitting in a radio studio or sitting in the CNN studio. It's actually worse because they're just as corrupt. The incentives are just as bad. They get just as much big money. The only difference is they still suck themselves off like they're special. People in mainstream media don't suck themselves off like they're special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
I've had it up to here with these fucking assholes. Like, nobody, if you want to actually be independent media, you have to fund your show like I fund mine, right? It's got to be Patreon donations and YouTube tips and just the default ads on YouTube. You cannot do like that. Remember that story that came out? Tim Pool and a bunch of other conservative commentators, they were taking millions of dollars from the Russian government and they were tricked and they thought it was just some shady billionaire. Yes, it was true. It was this company called Tenet Media, run by this woman, Lauren Chen. And we actually met Lauren Chen at Politicon.
Ask her if she likes Kyle and Corin. I'll take some Russian bread. She listened to this podcast. Yo, Lauren Chen, if you're out there, holla at me.
You're going to jail now.
Oh, she's in jail. All right, don't holla at me.
Oh, she's gonna almost certainly be indicted because they took money from the Russian government, funneled it to all these conservative influencers, and they told the conservative influencers, "Oh, this is money from a billionaire." And they had a fake resume that had this like made up billionaire's name on it.
Crazy.
And none of them had any questions. They're like, "Oh, okay, you want to give me that money? Great, here, give me the money." So they're getting millions of dollars, and they thought it was just from a shady billionaire. By the way, great defense, right? Like, oh, I just thought this was from some shady billionaire asshole. I didn't realize it was from a foreign government. Like, you guys are the problem with so-called independent media. You're not independent.
Yo, whatever goes on in like, yeah, like whatever's happening in Saudi Arabia, they even did it with the New York Knicks now. You know who the jersey sponsor is for the New York Knicks?
Wasn't it like the Emiratis or something?
It's like
shit?
Visit Dubai or like
oh, Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what, like the New York Knicks. You bought the New York Knicks, which doesn't surprise me because like James Dolan just rented out Madison Square Garden to Donald Trump. But like all of this stuff that's going on, there's just one, it's wild to me how much money is out there, because they were even talking about like Deion Sanders in Colorado try to go out there and have a meeting with like the Saudi people to get money for like their college players. But like the fact that all that is going on is crazy, and they're doing it with anyone who will take money, and obviously influencers looking for money. So if they hear from someone that like, hey, there's a billionaire that's willing to give you some money, like, fuck, do you think they're going to say no?
They're not going to say no. They're going to say yes. And this literally is a strategy that's been talked about at length. It's called sports washing.
Yeah.
And so Saudi Arabia knows they have a horrible human rights record. Saudi Arabia knows that they just did a genocide in Yemen and killed countless people and starved the entire country by doing a total blockade. They know that in the U.S. and in the West, they're viewed as like Muslim fundamentalists and extremists, and people are not comfortable with that. They know all that. So what's their way of trying to buy legitimacy? They decided, hey, we're going to do a big deal with the WWE and have like some big WWE WrestleMania type event shit. They decided they're going to fund a counter league to the PGA Tour called the Live Golf Tour. Try to buy that.
They do mad boxing events out there, UFC.
Boxing. I think they tried to do tennis, or they're in the midst of doing tennis. I think they did Formula One shit. And so, yeah, they're handing out money to whoever will accept it and has some industry. And that's also another reason they're doing it, is to sort of diversify their economy, because they're so heavily reliant on oil and gas. And they know that, eventually at some point down the road, that's not going to last forever. Yeah. So they know, well, let's diversify and let's get our money all over the place, get investments all over the place. And this is how they buy legitimacy. And because they're our ally, they get away with it. Like, nobody cares. Nobody bats an eyelash, And so here we are. And I guarantee you, all these fucking assholes in so-called independent media, that's coming soon. If they haven't taken checks from Saudi Arabia yet, it's coming. It's coming. Because they have no morals. They have no scruples. They just want the fucking money, and they just want to go up the ladder like any other industry.
So what happened to like these like Tim Pool and all the other people that like took the money? Are they like saying, like denying it, like, oh, I didn't know where this was coming from?
Yeah, so for them, this is the way the story goes. This is what was in the indictment. I don't know any more than this, but basically what they say is they were lied to by Lauren Chen and Tenet Media. Tenet Media told them, oh, this is from a billionaire financer we have. His name is like Edward Gregorian or some shit like that. They gave him a fake resume, right? And so they thought, oh, it's okay that I'm taking this money because I thought it was from a shady billionaire.
Oh, my gosh.
That's literally their defense. But here's the thing. Taking money from a shady billionaire, it's immoral, it's unethical, it's not illegal. So the charges are not against them, at least not yet. There's no charges against them. But there will likely be charges against Lauren Chen and Tenet Media and maybe some others in the field. So that's where they're at right now. But it just goes to show you, like, to me, that story represented, like, oh, it's over. There is no independent media.
No.
It's just not there. It's just a bunch of fucking assholes trying to make money like anybody else. Nobody's in this for the principles. Nobody's in this because, hey, we need an alternative to mainstream media because they suck and they're corporate hacks and they suck up to the establishment. We need people who are truth tellers, who are on the outside, who don't have perverse incentives. Nope, I'm the only asshole in the country who's like, oh, no, I'll actually live by that, right? You know the amount of money I left on the table because I said it's not ethical for me to be involved with any sort of deals like that. I could have had $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, however many million from some advertiser if they wanted to pay me and I hawk their bullshit. But I decided, no, I'm in news and politics. News and politics is unique in the sense that you need people to trust that you're authentic, you're genuine, you're telling the truth. And in order to do that, you can't have bad funding. You can't have it. You just can't have it. And so I made that decision. Apparently, I'm one of like 5 people in the fucking country who actually meant it when they talked about independent media and had hope for independent media.
Yeah. No, I mean, I fuck with that. I mean, I've seen it with TYT. Like, I feel like even when we were out there, like, Jenk had to make sure that his coffee mug was like facing the right way because it had some bank sponsor on it or some shit. And I was like, damn, like, even they're taking money from some people is kind of crazy. Like, and they were like the OG ones to be like, hey, we're just super grassroots, donate, like, and then to see them kind of sell out was kind of sad too. But I don't know. It's commendable that you're still OG with it. Cause yeah, not for nothing. I would be taking some bread and spitting out some shit that people would be like, does he really believe that? I'll be like, nope. But when I leave the studio, you see what car I'm driving.
Yeah, I naively thought that everybody who was doing this shit was like, oh, even if they disagree with me, they're honest disagreements. And it's like, nah, maybe they're getting paid to say the shit that they're saying. This is how it worked with the radio back in the day with Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck and all these conservative radio hosts, Mark Levin. They would get paid by right-wing think tanks. So literally, like, these massive conservative billionaires fund right-wing think tanks.
Well, I mean, it's lucrative. There's a lot of money in it.
I know, and there's like no money on the left because there are very few, if any, leftist billionaires. There's some liberal ones, but leftist ones who want to like raise their own taxes, that's the fucking unicorn to find.
Well,
those.
I mean, that's why also like in conservative, I guess, or liberal or whatever, independent media, you see a lot of new people popping up because there's like a lot of opportunities for young kids to like grow their channel who are speaking the truth. And on the right side, it's the same motherfuckers. There's what's his
Charlie Kirk,
Kirk. There's a dude who wears with the yarmulke.
Ben Shapiro, yeah.
The Tucker Carlson, and Candace Owens. There's like just the main people that make their bread because they're like, those are the people that are getting paid. Whereas the left side, there's like a lot of young kids that are coming up. I don't know why sometimes I get fed these videos, but do you ever watch these things where there's like two people sitting with a debate clock and then they all have like a red flag around the
Jubilee? I think it's Jubilee, right?
Is it like a league or some shit? Like what?
No, Jubilee just makes these political videos where they'll have like 20 Republicans take on Destiny, who's a
That's
liberal.
What I'm saying. Like, I don't know why. Like, yeah. I was always just curious about that whole thing because I saw one with like Ben Shapiro, and he was like debating. It was
20 Kamala Harris supporters. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it was like a guy, and he had his seat like AC Slater, and then he thought he like killed it, and he turned his chair around and was like, "Well, I'm actually a woman." I was like, "Damn, you got me too, motherfucker!" Like, but like I see all that, like, and then like all the red flags that go up and stuff. And there was this one kid who I kept seeing his videos that thought he was like killing it on everything.
Oh, I know his name. Dean Withers, is it?
Probably, but he's like a young kid.
Young liberal guy?
Yeah.
Young liberal guy?
Yeah, and he just, I don't know if you like him or not, but he just comes off as like smug and like, but he's gotten popular because probably, I mean, like, sounds like he says what he believes, which is like good shit, and he tries to like shut people down. But I don't know. I found him kind of annoying.
Yeah. There are different spheres. I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, y'all, but if I had to guess, I think Dean Withers is a Destiny clone.
So Destiny is like good or bad?
He's a liberal streamer.
Okay.
So he's not a conservative, he's not a Republican. We like that.
Yeah.
He's not a dipshit enlightened centrist. We like that.
Okay.
Him and I agree on this election, but there's some issues where I think he's just insane. But what's his overall effect for this election cycle? Yeah, him and I are generally on the same side when it comes to this election cycle. And he's done some good debates with MAGA Republicans and, made them look silly. And he's like the king debate streamer, I would say, liberal debate streamer. And I think that kid that you're talking about, I think his name is Dean Withers, although I'm not 100% on that either. And I think he is sort of like from the Destiny sphere.
Okay.
And so Destiny has sort of inspired some people who are coming after him who have their own little niche in the same way, that I would say, it started, you could say, with TYT for a similar format to what I do.
Yeah, you've got disciples now too.
Well, after me, it was probably like David Dole and Humanist Report and there's some and Mac, Good Politic Guy. Like there are some who are, sort of in our sphere, right? And as for those guys, they're not selling out. They're not taking shady ass money. They're doing it for the love of the game, and they mean it, and God bless them. But outside of that, there's, like you said, the Republicans are just paid hacks at this point. They're all just chasing that paycheck. And then look, on the Democratic side too, I hate to say it, but there are some who are just chasing a fucking paycheck. There are some who are just literal like DNC mouthpieces. People like Harry Sisson, I think his name is.
I think you're gonna say Harry Styles. I was like, yo, R.I.P.
Not Harry Styles.
That's some shady shit too, man. I don't know what's going on with that, but that was a weird one.
It wasn't Harry Styles. It was the other one.
Oh, Liam. My bad.
Yeah,
Harry,
Liam
you're good.
Liam
You're good money. But
yeah,
if you're not Harry, get your shit together because you could get fucked up like Liam. But Liam's was weird. They like put a Snapchat out that like he was all good, and then it came out that like he was actually doing mad drugs in his hotel.
And then he died from that, or did he like jump
supposedly
off the
like there was like mad drugs in his hotel or something like that. There was like a Dove soap bar container that like they say the room service guy supposedly was giving him drugs or whatever. But then early, like an hour earlier on his Snapchat, they said he released the video with his girlfriend, like everything was peaches and cream. But the real video was like he was doing mad drugs in his hotel and then like allegedly fell off his balcony or whatnot. So I don't know. I think they were saying his PR team was trying to make shit look good for him.
I wonder if did he actually fall or did he commit suicide?
I don't know. And that's it's kind of just like sad. I met that dude one time at a Knicks game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, do you have a picture?
I got a picture
with him or no? Oh my God, Corin! For those of you who don't know, the OG fans know, Corin has a picture with like literally every celebrity ever.
I think I met. Yeah. But yeah, no, not to sidetrack, but yeah, no, there are. I mean, I feel like David Pakman probably like grew crazy because he kind of sold out to this shit. But there's probably
Pakman does a lot of ads, right? He does a lot. He's got a lot of companies that he works with, and the biggest thing for him was, it's one thing if you're the type of person you're like, hey, I want to do a deal with like a clothing brand or some shit or whatever. It's like, I don't agree in this space, but all right. But the problem is when Pakman started doing like crypto shit or like NFT shit.
Anyone who does that, like, I had someone tell me recently, if you got an extra $1,000, just put it into crypto or NFT, and maybe he said a company, but like that's the last shit I would do.
Scam, bro. And the crazy thing is they have bought legitimacy. The crypto people, they have paid Republican politicians and Democrat politicians, and now Republicans and Democrats are like, yeah, crypto, bro. Crypto is great. I'm going to protect crypto. And it's like, bro, this shit was already outed as a scam, right? I was sort of agnostic at the beginning, like maybe there's good things, maybe not. I don't know. I knew NFTs were bullshit when everybody was like, they had
the biggest bullshit.
They had pictures of cartoon monkeys, and they were like, this is worth $178,000. And I'm like, bitch, no, the fuck it's not. Are you out of your damn mind? No, it's not worth that much money. Justin Bieber bought one for like $1 quadrillion, and it just plummeted in value like 90% or some shit. Like, what are you doing? But the crypto thing, I was like 50-50. Maybe I could see might be good, but I don't know. Now it's like, no, scam. Total scam. Sam Bankman-Fried is already in fucking prison with his big crypto trading bullshit, right? So I don't... See, that's what's so crazy to me, Corin, about this world that we live in is like, how can you have a thing that is 100% outed as a scam, and then now here we are like a year or two later after it was outed as a scam,
coming back,
and now the Democrats and the Republican politicians are like, I'm pro-crypto. It's like, Jesus, that's how cheap you guys are to buy? These lobbyists have to come and wine and dine you a few times and cut you a check for $100,000 and you're sucking them off? Like, what the fuck is wrong with this world that we live in?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And there's only going to be more of that if Trump wins. Like, there's only going to be more crazy people that are allowed to be crazy. Like, those crazy people are going to try to sell you some shit. And there's going to be a lot of people that fall for it. And the sane people are going to be trying to go about their business, but it's going to be so much craziness, chaotic shit going on that you're not even going to be able to, like, do what you want to do.
Yeah, and Trump is doing it himself. He always releases these videos on his Twitter or his Truth Social where he's like selling golden sneakers.
Yeah, weird
and
shit.
selling a book. He was selling $100,000 watch. He was selling like trading cards, and it's like,
and he did that back in '88 when he had like the Trump stakes and all that stuff.
Trump steaks, which I love this fact about the steaks. The Trump steaks you could only buy at the Sharper Image at the mall.
That's crazy.
Bro, that's got to be the worst deal ever made.
That's actually wild.
Come get your steaks. Come get a massage chair at the Sharper Image and pick up some steaks while you're at it.
Anyone who buys, like, if you go to a famous pizza place in, like, Arizona or something like that, and they have, like, frozen shit, and you try to take it back home with you to whatever state you're from, don't do that shit.
Oh, who does that?
There's places that like sell. There was a popular like pancake shop by us in Illinois, I think, that you could buy like the frozen shit that people would try and bring home. Or like people, I mean, you can get stuff. Well, actually, no, because Molly ships some of her milk to like California and it gets there in a day. So, but I'm still kind of skeptical of these places that like you can order shit in other states and have like food sent to you the next day.
Bro, here's one thing about me that's always been the case. I don't want to know shit about the food that gets to my plate. I don't want, like, I just hope that there's a regulatory state in place to make sure everything is safe. But, like, think about it. If you live in, like, Kansas and you get sushi at a restaurant, like, motherfucker, you are a trillion miles away from the water.
That's very true, too.
This shit has got it. The whole point of sushi is it's got to be fresh, right? And you got this sushi. It just, how long did it take to get here? What kind of fucking nasty ass plane was it on? Who was serving it to you?
Is there a big sushi market in Kansas City?
I mean, I think there's restaurants in every
there gotta be
state
sushi
that have
spots out there.
sushi, and there's some places that are just nowhere near the water.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's kind of disgusting. I kind of want to know what the kitchen looks like a little bit at the shit I'm eating, but also like I feel like my stomach can sense if your food is fucked up.
It's so funny. We've always had total opposite stomachs. You have a stomach that is very sensitive.
Very sensitive.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you eat something bad within an hour, you're getting it out.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Me, I have an iron stomach. Like my stomach is crazy, dog. Like there are times where I was like super sick with neurovirus, which is one that's supposed to make you throw up and shit.
Yeah, that's the wild shit.
And I had neurovirus and I didn't throw up or shit. I literally laid down in excruciating pain.
Damn.
And I got so dehydrated, my piss was literally brown. I was struggling hard. But at no point did I shit or vomit. At no point. And I'm like probably the only person on planet Earth who's gotten a disease that's supposed to make you throw up or shit, and I didn't either throw up or shit.
That's kind of impressive, though.
Yeah, my stomach is kind of wild, dog. It really is. Like, there are times I eat shit. There was one time, Crystal was with me for this. We were at the studio about to record Crystal, Kyle, and Friends, and I had gone to the little kitchenette, and I got pound cake, and I was eating the pound cake. And like halfway through at one point, because I was like half paying attention, I was like, this shit is a little twangy. Like, it's got a little bit of a twang to it, right? And then I look at the shit, and there's mold on the back. I was like, oh. And I'm very, like, even though I have an iron stomach, I'm still very, like, anal about my food. Like, I don't want anything to be wrong with it. If that shit is near the expiration date, I'm like, nah, I'll pass.
Oh,
like,
really?
Good.
See, I would have thought in that situation, if you were to just ask me what you did, like, if you stop full sentence there and were like, what do you think I did? I would have guessed, like, you just ate around like, you would have taken, like, you would have looked at a part and been like, well, that part's not moldy, so I'll just finish eating that shit. I would have, kudos to you. I had a bad read on that one.
I did the opposite, and then I was just waiting. I was just sitting there like, yup, it's going to happen.
But were you, like, disgusted? Were you like, oh, shit, like, look at all this mold?
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I ate like 60% of the pound cake and didn't realize, like, I just said it tasted twangy. Something was fucking wrong with it. I was eating fucking mold, bro. And so I was like, it's coming. So we did the show. I was just waiting, like, I'm going to have to shit myself or I'm going to have to throw up. Like, I just ate mold. This is what's going to happen. Nothing fucking happened. Nothing. And I was like, how is that possible? How is that possible?
Kind of like, fuck bread a little bit too, because it like I try and get rolls every morning from this bakery that's pretty bomb. But you leave it out for like an hour and that shit will get hard right away.
It's true.
And also,
right.
It's like if there's a little bit of like, so I'll put them in Ziploc bags now. If I don't close my Ziploc bag right away, instantaneously that shit will get like some mold on it, little white things. I'm like, whoa. I don't know if it's mold or not, but that mold will come. That shit is a fucking killer.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? How quick that shit can grow.
It's crazy that mold will grow that quick, and that also fruit flies will just appear out of fucking nowhere in your house.
Bro, we have so for our cats, I feed my cats good, and I make sure they always have at least some kibble in their bowl. Like I'll feed them some wet food, but make sure they have some kibble.
Yeah.
Yeah, to your point, like it'll out of nowhere on a random Tuesday, you'll walk in and be like, "Why are there all these weird little flies around? Like, where the fuck does it come from?"
I really am confused. There needs to be a fruit fly expert because they don't come through the front door. Those shits just appear.
They don't. They just appear. I was thinking, like, did they come through the vent for the air conditioner? But then, like, how did they get into the fucking air conditioner shit? Like, none of it makes any sense.
None of it. And then you get rid of the fucking things and they just disappear.
Exactly. By the way, there's a good, if you ever have, like, little flies, there's this awesome light that Crystal bought where it just looks like a blue LED light. You plug it in and it just looks like a blue LED light, and them bitches go right to it and die.
For like, outside or inside?
Inside.
Oh, for real?
Inside. Yeah. And if you get them, you're chilling.
Oh,
you're good.
I remember they used to have in the delis they look like a film strip, and they would have like the yellow shits hanging from the ceiling, and all the flies would be on them. Oh, you ever see those in the restaurants?
Oh, that's so gross.
You remember those shits though?
I don't remember them, but I'm disgusted even thinking about it. They
had them
from
the ceiling. Shit. It looked like an old like picture shit, like like the cartridge, and like the film would like roll out. It was basically that, but the film that you would roll out would be yellow, and they would hang them from the ceilings, and literally in like bagel shops, delis, flies all in it.
That's so gross. But to be fair, those places have probably the most banging bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh yeah, they got the most banging. It's like it's like a bodega or a like deli in New York City. Like it's kind of commonplace and like a running joke that the place is going to have cats like kind of just running around their store.
Yeah,
which is disgusting as fuck.
Bro, what's the name of the place we went to? Where, like it's called like Pat's Hubba Hubba or some shit like that.
Pat's was disgusting. They had cockroaches on the counter and like,
bro,
I remember they used to fill up like that would be your drinking water was straight. They would put a bucket in the mop water bucket, fill it up with that water, put it in pitchers, and then drop like a drop of pink lemonade in there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like they have this shit called like Hubba Juice or some shit, and they were like everybody gets the Hubba Juice when they come here. And then I remember I looked at it, and like you said, it's like all gross ass water. Then they put the tiny drop of lemonade, and they're like, "Here's your Hubba Juice," and you drink it, and you're like, "Bitch, this is just nasty ass water. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why would anybody order this? Why would anybody order that? I never understood that.
Because you're eating like a hot, like their chili cheese like wedge or burger, whatever the fuck they called it, would be kind of hot. So you would just need something to drink it down. Like it could have been, they could have gave you mop water and then dropped like a little tinkle of piss in there, and you still would have drank that shit because you just needed something to go with your sandwich.
I remember one time we went there, and I think it was me, you, and Brian, and I think I had tried to smoke weed for the first time in like a million years because I've never been a weed guy. And I was just like so fucking paranoid. And we went in there and I felt like everybody was staring at me. And I felt like, that horrible paranoid feeling.
Bad feeling.
Oh, it's the worst. I don't know why look, it's just my brain, but I've tried a million times. I just don't like weed.
I don't get do you know the zinc, is it called, or something like that? It's a dip or
Zin. Yeah.
Are those little bags that's dipping, right?
Let me look it up if it's Zin. Oh no, Za?
No, I think zinc or Zin sounds right or something.
Oh, ZYN is it?
Maybe.
Let me look.
But the quarterback for the Bucks.
Yeah, Zin nicotine pouches. Yeah.
So you put
what about them?
I don't know how I'm asking. I don't know if you know it or not, but you put like a whole pouch in your lip, I think.
Yeah, it says it's a nicotine pouch. That's what
and it just gives you like a buzz.
Yeah, it'll give you like a nicotine buzz, which isn't much.
But still, that's gotta be so horrible for you to put an actual pouch in your mouth.
Well, I guess the thinking is sort of like how, like with vapes, how they say, look, you'll get the nicotine and you'll get the flavor, but you won't get the 5 trillion carcinogens that you get in a cigarette. It's sort of like a replacement or better alternative for a cigarette. I think the idea behind Zyn is like, instead of doing like chewing tobacco, you're doing just the nicotine.
Oh,
right. But I've never done it. But I know it's very popular now. I know that it's
popular.
a thing that a lot.
That thing is like all the Barstool kids have that shit now, and like I don't know how I would never. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, props to you. You never went down the road of like fucking cigarettes and dumb shit. You've never fucked with them, and that's brilliant. I did it when I first did. I'll admit, when I first smoked cigarettes, 100% I was trying to look cool, right? I mean, I came from a household where my dad was a smoker.
Yeah, my pop smoked too.
So I was always around it. Yeah, but when I first tried it, I was like, yeah, I want to do it because I want to look cool. That was literally the beginning of it. Is like
that was like
cool.
the '88. You know? Like you saw John Travolta in like Grease Lightning. Like everybody growing up. I mean, we weren't watching Grease like that, but like back in that era, it was like you had a cigarette here, you had a cigarette in your head, and like a leather jacket. And I fucked with the leather jackets, but like the cigarette shit never stuck with me.
Yeah, we were like the last era where smoking cigarettes was viewed as cool.
Yeah.
Like 5 years after us, it was already, everybody was like, you're whack if you
Well, they were doing
cigarettes.
some other shit. They were probably doing like dip or something like that.
Right. But like we were that last era of like, oh, cigarettes are cool.
Yeah.
But that went out of style pretty quick. I remember I used the original when the vapes first came out. I actually was able to use it successfully to quit cigarettes.
Oh, I remember
when they had the shitty blue e-cigarettes.
I remember that. I remember when you had those.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, this is good enough. Like, I don't actually need to smoke. It honestly wasn't that hard to quit cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people say it's one of the hardest ones to quit. There's no way that quitting heroin is harder than quitting cigarettes. There's no fucking way.
Nah, yeah, I can't. I don't believe that one either.
And if it's really about the nicotine, they say that's the addictive part of the cigarette. If it's really about the nicotine, anybody could just get nicotine gum and do it.
Yeah.
Like if I was able to do it, I feel like almost anybody could quit cigarettes if they really want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get like addicted on shit too much just because you know my personality.
Except gambling.
Yeah, except gambling. Just because I don't care enough about shit. Gambling, I want to win money, so I mean I care about that. I was actually telling someone how we used to have Mohegan Mondays where we would drive up on Monday and literally try and win like a quick 200-300 and then just drive straight back. And they were like, "But you would drive up to Mohegan Sun every month?" I was like, "Yeah."
That shit was fun.
It was mad fun, and like a lot of the times we won too, which was like you could go up, get a quick $200-300, and then bounce. Like obviously, I think we lost a couple times, but I think we won a majority more than we lost going up on that Monday stretch.
We had a system, yeah. So I would go. It depends how much time we were staying there, but I think sometimes I'd go play cards, right? I'd go play Texas Hold'em. But then the thing I would do, I feel like a lot, is I would go to the roulette table.
With roulette, yeah.
And I would do the martingale system, which for people who don't know, go read about the martingale system on for casinos. There's a Wikipedia page on it. You can learn all about it there. It was a system that worked so well that they had to put
a name to it,
minimums and limits at the top for people so that it stops them from doing the martingale system. And the way it works is like you bet the minimum. If you win, you take your little victory, right? And then you bet the minimum again. I should be clear. Either pick black or pick red, and then bet the minimum on black or minimum on red, right? And if you win, take your victory and go back to betting the minimum. If you lose, you double the bet and put it on the same color, right? And then so sometimes it'll be like you'll lose 5 times in a row, and now
you gotta fucking
you're betting
really dig deep.
However many hundreds of dollars are in there, right? And you're like, fuck, this needs to hit. But if it hits, you're chilling. And so the system is you sort of like chip away slowly and gain little bits over time, because basically what your bet is, this is your bet. Ready? I bet it's not going to hit red 8 times in a row. That's your bet. If it doesn't hit red 8 times in a row, I'm walking out of here profitable.
Your money.
And I went in there and did the martingale system, and I would win. I would walk out with an extra 100, 200, whatever it was, almost every time we did that.
Your strategy was like super patient. And you at least had 8 hands, which like takes a little bit of time. I would go play blackjack, and literally like fucking 2 minutes in, I'd be like, "Yo, I lost." Like, you'd be like, "Damn, man." But sometimes I'll be killing it. But like, I would be betting fucking too big of money to try and win that shit so quick, and that's what fucked me up. Yeah,
sometimes you would have swings. There'd be some times where like I won 800, and I'd be like, "Damn, that's crazy." and then other times we'd be there for like 5 minutes, and you're like, I got to go to the ATM, and I'm like, bro, what? You just blew through 350 like that already? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, this shit was bad. Dude, I was just in I was in Dallas. And I'd been to Dallas for like a day, like in the past. But this time I like kind of walked around the city for a second. And it's kind of sad just because like this has been like what I've seen in a lot of cities I've been to, but like a lot of like just homeless people, a lot of like drug looking people. But the first time, so I couldn't check into my hotel yet, and the dude was like, hey, walk around the block, whatever, come back. I'm walking 2 seconds in, right outside the subway station, 2 people having sex, broad daylight, right outside the shit. Like I'm walking on the sidewalk, and I hear like, oh, I like turned my head and look. I was like, oh shit, and I just kept walking. So Dallas was a little funky, man. It was a weird city, but it was cool because I went and saw where JFK was shot, and I started just kind of looking up some of the shit that happened. And I was talking to my dad, and he's like, no, definitely was just one shot from Lee Harvey Oswald on the 6th floor. And I was like, and I saw the distance from where he was shot. I was like, there's no way that was one shot that hit him. And then supposedly I think it hit the governor or something of Texas too, who was in the car. And my dad said that the bullet split off. I was like, come on, man. Like, yo, if you saw how far that window was from where he got shot on the road, and like he said he had a sniper rifle, but like you needed a perfect shot at a moving car. So I'm on team conspiracy when it comes to the JFK shit. I just had to say that.
But you know what? Most Americans are too. When you look at, because they polled this, like after it happened, they polled it, and people were like, nah, it definitely wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald. And even today, it's still a majority of Americans that say it wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald. It just doesn't make sense. And then what happened? Think about what happened afterwards, right? They arrest Lee Harvey Oswald. Then Lee Harvey Oswald gets killed. Then the dude who killed Lee Harvey Oswald gets killed after that.
He got the second dude got killed too?
Yes.
Oh, geez. I didn't know all that.
And this was at a time when everybody was dropping, right? Like Martin Luther King got killed and RFK got killed. Yeah, Malcolm X. Like everybody was getting murdered. Yeah. And so there were definitely some shit going on. There's a lot of different conspiracies. Some people say it was the mafia. Some people say it was Cuba. Some people say it was Russia.
Like the FBI.
But I think the most accepted one is the CIA.
Oh, CIA.
The CIA was involved in some way. And that's why, Trump didn't declassify the shit when he was in office. And
but is that true? Like Rogan asked him about that shit. You think they really like have files on that like Trump saw and knows exactly?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
No, I don't know if Trump saw them, but they have classified JFK files. And what Trump said is Mike Pompeo came up to him and said, please don't declassify them. And he was like, okay. But Mike Pompeo was the head of the CIA, and he very famously said that when he was at the CIA, his job was to lie, cheat, and steal. And so my guess is Mike Pompeo was trying to protect the CIA, knowing that if you released the classified information, you would know of some semblance of CIA involvement in JFK's death.
Oh, wow.
That's my guess. And I should be clear, I'm not like, there's some people who have built this like mythology around JFK about how the reason he was killed is because he was such a good president and he was going to end the wars, he was going to do this and do. That's not true. Like he wasn't, some flaming hardcore lefty who was going to fix everything. But it is true. He had a beef with the CIA, and the CIA had a beef with him, and they probably killed him.
Damn.
So yeah, for sure. But I want to get back to that sex story, bro. What the fuck?
It was wild,
bro.
It was not like I didn't see what they look like because if it was like looking good, maybe I would have like kind of like watched for a second. But like I was just so caught off guard by the shit that it was happening.
Weird.
It was like 11:45 in the morning. And it was right outside the subway doors. So like someone could have just came up to Subway and been like right in it. But that was like a first for me. And I texted my friend who lives in the Bronx, and he was like, yo, I see that shit like every day. And then he was like, I only saw it like twice. But it's the state of like what we live in right now, like it's just like there's mad homeless people. There's a lot of drug addicts, and they need to get their nut off too.
I thought Texas didn't play with shit like that.
Well, no, Dallas was a little weary downtown, man.
I thought if you look at somebody the wrong way in Texas, they'll lock your ass.
Well, that's why I was shook.
Like I was thinking them.
I was a little shook even just driving. I was like, let me Well, you could go a little faster out there because I think the speed limit was like 75 or 80, which is wild. Like, but I was like, let me stay in my lane. Let me not like swerve because I don't know. I think everybody's got a gun out here. And even like if I was looking at those two people having sex for too long, that they probably would have pulled the gun out of me.
Damn, bro. That's so crazy because again, maybe I'm naive.
That was like me.
Never happened when we were younger.
No,
right?
That shit wasn't happening when we were younger.
I mean, I know crime in New York City in the 90s was kind of wild. Crime was there, but people just fucking in public on some shit, like at least have the kindness to do it after dark and do it like behind a dumpster at an Arby's or some shit. Like you can't just be right by the subway in front of like grandmas and shit at 11:45 a.m. That's wild, bro.
And then I kept walking. And then there's like a homeless guy like beelining straight at me, like walking mad fast. I kind of had to hit him with like a swerve. But it was just like, those were my first two like kind of experiences with walking around downtown Dallas. And like the rest of Dallas was kind of cool. I had a good time. Went to the Mavericks game. Saw the Cowboys joint. But downtown was sketchy, man. And that's just been a lot of the cities that I've been at is just like, there's a lot of sketchiness going on.
I told you that me and Crystal went to a Justin Timberlake concert.
Oh, yeah, I know. I don't think I ever asked you how it was.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, I'm pretty sure it was my first concert ever. Like, I don't think I've ever been to a concert before.
That's wild, too.
Yeah, it is kind of wild if you think about it. But it was good, man. So Corin actually knows the DJ that opens up for Justin Timberlake. He played basketball with him.
DJ Hypes or something.
Oh, tell everybody your story about how you met Justin Timberlake's DJ and what was supposed to happen on that day.
What was supposed to happen on that day?
Here, I'll tell the story. So, Corin with his job, every now and then he gets to play basketball with like some cool ass people, some famous people, and this was at the time where Justin Timberlake got pulled over for drunk driving in Long Island, I think it was. Everybody knows that famous mugshot. He's high as fuck. He's coked out of his mind. It looks like and drunk in the picture. Yeah, and so he had gotten arrested, and Corin told me that like, yo, I was literally supposed to play basketball with Justin Timberlake and his DJ, and now he's not going to make it because of the fucking legal troubles. But you still ended up playing with his DJ.
You and his, one of his backup singers who probably was on stage when you were there. Dude Camry, or I think his name's Camry. They were both mad cool, but it would have been crazy playing with Justin Timberlake. I mean,
that would have been crazy because who have you played with before? You showed me
Bieber,
pictures.
21 Savage, Ozuna, Bad Bunny, like mad people. And Timberlake would have been cool just because like,
who plays basketball with Bieber? That's the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Wild.
Like, I was just balling with Bieber.
That one was wild. You ever see the video of like Diddy tapping his chest, like thinking he has a wire on him?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He definitely thinks, like, at first I was like, nah, I don't think so. But like, he's tapping around, like clearly looking for something.
Yeah. Have you seen that video of Bieber in the club with like Odell Beckham and somebody else? And it really is sketchy.
No.
Have you seen
I don't
that?
think so.
Oh, man. The internet had a field day with this one. So it's a video of they're in a club. Mm-hmm. It's dark. Mm-hmm. Somebody's recording with their phone and it has the light on the phone, so like it's bright.
Oh, I think this is like head bobbing or something like that.
So they turn the camera, and I think it's Bieber and Odell Beckham. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It might be a different sports star. I think it was Odell.
Okay.
Beckham. Oh, and Trey Songz was next to Odell Beckham.
So funky shit was going on.
And so they turn the camera, or they pick the camera up, and you see Justin Bieber's head come up from low. And it pops up, and he looks back at the camera, and his eyes, obviously, he's coked out of his mind or high on God knows what or drunk as fuck, right? But you see his eyes, and people on the internet look at that, and they go, he was just sucking dude off in the club. Like, it kind of looked like he was sucking that dude off in the club. But, I showed the video to Crystal, and I was like, what do you think? And she was like, it's hard to tell. He could have been, like, doing a line of coke on a table that's below, and he lifts, we don't know. But the internet was like, he was sucking them off. Like, the internet was just done with it. But there's videos of Bieber. I feel bad for Bieber because he's been a star since he was a kid, and listening to him talk now, man, he went through some shit. You could tell he was like, I don't want the industry to do to these young kids what it did to me. And he's like tearing up, and he's going through a weird Christian phase. And it looks like he doesn't even take care of his hygiene anymore. His hair's all, now I think he's married with a kid, but like it looked like the industry put him through some shit. And then when you see everything that's coming out about Diddy, you're like, oh, God damn it. Because Diddy, oh my God, so many of our favorites were in that Diddy scene, right? Like Usher. Usher tells a story about going to Diddy flavor camp when he was 13 years old or whatever. And Howard Stern asked him, like, so would you let your kid go to Diddy flavor camp? And Usher's like, hell no.
I bet you Howard Stern was at a Diddy party.
Had to be, right? But Howard Stern, to be fair to him, he sort of doesn't like leaving the house.
That's true.
You know, he's got a little bit of that thing going on, you know? So maybe not for him, but the shit that was going on, man, you see these indictments, you see these allegations that are flying.
So he's in prison right now, right? Because he didn't get bail.
He's in prison. He did not get bail. That's right. Right. And now it's like, hey, make sure he stays healthy, because we saw what happened to Jeffrey Epstein when he was in a similar predicament.
I bet you if Trump wins, he'd probably give Diddy a pardon. They're probably boys.
Maybe, maybe not. See, the problem is he would get so much shit for it, and I don't know if he's willing to get a lot of shit for Diddy. Yeah. You know? Like, I'm not saying he wouldn't do it. It's very possible he would.
That would be one way.
He's got to at least lean in the direction of, nah, like you really got to convince me on this shit,
I hope he would
right?
draw I mean, that would be, like, if he got elected president and the first thing he did was pardon Diddy, that would just be so... Oh, that would be just a perfect Trump. Because it's gonna be a mess either way, man. I'm kind of nervous, because it would be really cool if he did lose, because all the people like Elon Musk and all these people would kind of just have to go back into their little holes, and you can just sit like laugh in their face, just because they've been so loud, so obnoxious, and so like in your face about him gonna win. That if he loses, it'll be so nice. Because then I feel like we'd have, like, I don't think Kamala's going to be great, but I think she'd actually just be like a normal president.
She's definitely not going to be great. Yeah. My hopes are not high for her, but the thing is, we know what Trump will do, and he's a fucking disaster. And yeah, to your point, that's actually a really good point I hadn't thought of. Like, all of the fucking assholes who are hopping on his bandwagon, like, I want you to send them into obscurity. Yeah. I want you to send J.D. Vance into obscurity, that little weasel bitch boy. I want you to send Tulsi Gabbard and RFK and fucking Elon Musk.
Dr. Phil.
And all these assholes.
Dr. Phil, bro. He was like,
Hogan, right?
I think he said he's not a bully or some shit, because, like, it has to be a two-way fight. I don't even know what the fuck he said. But it was so wild that, like, he was defending him. It's like, you're Dr. Phil. You're supposed to be just a fucking therapist and just stay out of people's way. Like, don't pick a side on this shit.
What is with these high profile? There's Dr. Phil, therapist, psychologist, right? And he's a fucking asshole. And then you also have Jordan Peterson, therapist, psychologist. He's a fucking asshole. Like, what is with these therapists who are just fucking assholes, right? And I was originally going to major in psychology, so that shit could have been me. But now you see these guys and you're like, are you all idiots? Like, what is wrong with you guys? I saw some shit. Jordan Peterson, I covered this. Jordan Peterson had said some shit about Trump. Like, you know, my clinical analysis of Trump is that the reason why he can be so abrasive is because he cares so much about ordinary people that he sort of takes their pain in when looking at them, and he's got a really tender heart.
Come on, man.
And it's like, bitch, so your argument is because he's an asshole, that means he's a good person deep down? Like, what the fuck are you saying? That guy only cares about himself. Anybody can see that. A fucking third grader can see that. What are you talking about? These people are humiliating, man. I can't stand these fucking people. God damn it. They're so pathetic.
I didn't know if it was true or not. And then I looked. I think Trump is tweeting out like he'll fix the soft serve machine at McDonald's if he's elected. He put a meme up.
Yeah, he would put that meme up. Yeah, that's actually Trump at his best, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, stick to that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, but like I said, there is no happy ending, because even if Kamala wins, Trump is going to say he won.
Yeah.
And then we're in for a period of uncertainty and insanity, and judges are going to have to weigh in, and there's going to be 70 MAGA election deniers who are on the board of certification for these different states, and you got to overcome them, and you got to overcome the tsunami of propaganda that's going to come out, because they'll take out of context videos from election night and say this is a video of somebody stealing the votes or bringing in fake votes or doing this or doing that. Yeah, lawsuits, all types of fucking shit. And it's like, buckle up, because that's what's going to happen.
Burning of the ballot shits is weird. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of mail-in votes that get lost, that get ripped up, that get thrown away into the ocean, that get burned.
You know what happened in Texas, right? In the last election in 2020?
No, what happened?
So the Attorney General of Texas is a guy named Ken Paxton. And Ken Paxton said, I waged over a dozen lawsuits. And then these lawsuits went into Texas courts, which are very conservative courts. And Ken Paxton successfully got 700,000 mail-in ballots thrown out.
Jeez.
And according to him, he said in a podcast interview with Steve Bannon, who was like a Trump official, he said to Steve Bannon, if it wasn't for me doing that, the same shit would have happened in Texas that happened in the rest of the country. Namely, we would have been sitting there, and Joe Biden would have overtaken Donald Trump, and Joe Biden would have won Texas. That's not Kyle speaking. That's the Republican Attorney General of Texas saying, if I didn't intervene, Biden would have won Texas.
So they're already doing this shit.
They've already been doing it, but it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. The only upside, though, is right now, Trump is not the sitting president. So he doesn't have his hands directly on the lever of power. He cannot, declare martial law and seize the voting machines, which is shit that they considered back in 2020. If he had the power now, I have no doubt he would do some shit like that, but he doesn't have the power. He's not sitting in the White House, so there's only so much he can do. He can't direct the Department of Justice to send out fake letters saying we're going to seize the voting machines or these ballots are fraudulent and we're investigating election rigging or whatever. He can't do that shit, but he's going to do everything that he can from where he is positioned.
Yeah, it's wild. And the fact that people think that he's not a problem. Bro, I look mad pale on this shit. Do you have make me think about Halloween and Ghost? Are you guys dressing up? Because last Halloween with the Zach Morris and you did the blonde hair?
That may have been 2 Halloweens.
Oh, was that 2 Halloweens ago?
And that's when I bleached my hair blonde just to be Zach Morris for Halloween. But then after I did it, Crystal said and I said and everybody around me was like, it actually looks kind of good. Yeah. You should probably leave it like this. And I was like, okay. And it's actually easier. I've told people it's easier for me to do this than it was what I was doing before. Because what people don't know is I had to use dye just for men gel every 3 weeks or something like that. And it was just too much. I didn't want to dye my hair every 3 weeks. Everything sucks.
Shaving my beard. I don't even shave my beard anymore, but there's a Snapchat app now that shows you what you look like clean shaven. I'm like, I think it's better that I keep some there.
Nah, we're old enough now. We got to keep
a little bit of facial hair, right? Yeah. Wait, so are you
dude? Me?
Do you have a costume?
No. So Crystal is doing. What was the name of that Australian breakdancer who was horrible?
She's gonna be that. That's a good one.
She's gonna be that chick. Yeah, which is kind of funny. She said I was working on the dance moves.
Yeah. That's I like that.
Doing that. I haven't gotten a costume yet. I mean, maybe I'll.
You could just be like LL Cool J or some shit to go with that, since she's gonna probably be rocking a Kangol hat.
Maybe I could do
just
that.
Wear a velour
the problem is we don't have one of those Halloween stores near us. The big
you don't
Halloween
have one. I feel like they take over
No.
every abandoned fucking warehouse everywhere.
Yeah, there's none by us, so I'd have to find a mask somewhere, order a mask on Amazon or whatever. But so I haven't put much thought into it.
I haven't either. I feel like this Halloween, I don't know if this sentiment is going to be universal, but it kind of feels like it, that people are just going to kind of phone it in this year. I hope not, because I like seeing some good costumes, but all I've seen on social media so far are just recycled from previous years. I saw this one kid, it was a little kid, but he was he made a trading card box, and he was Steph Curry in the box. It was pretty cool. But I haven't seen, well, maybe because Halloween hasn't happened yet. I haven't seen any costumes yet that have been cool.
Yeah. To your point, I think that's just because we're getting older now that you're everybody's phoning it in. It's nah, I'm phoning it in.
I'm phoning that shit in so hard. I might just wear my Yankees hat out on Thursday. And
it's you've seen 1,000 Halloweens. what else is there to see in Halloween? You know, like we're in our mid-30s. Like,
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck about Halloween. I don't give a fuck about my birthday.
that's true.
I'm not one of those people who's, it's my birthday, let's go do the, like, who gives a fuck?
I would.
You
I
know?
used to be pro, like, if you come up to my door and you don't have a costume on, like, fuck you, you don't get some candy. I'm almost more inclined to give you more candy if you're like me and you walk up to someone's door and you're like, hey man, trick or treat. I'll be like, yo, that's what's
Yeah,
up. Like, here's a
just
whole shit ton of candy. I respect that. Like, you still just want to get some candy, but didn't go the whole effort to go put a costume on.
yeah, just here with the kids doing
Not even
whatever.
with the kids. Like, I might just walk around at people's cribs and just be like, hey, trick or treat. Can I just get some candy?
What's your costume? I'm playing a middle-aged dad who's tired.
yo.
That's what I'm doing.
I would respect that. I'll be like, man, here's the whole fucking bucket.
Yeah, shit. Middle-aged dad, like, yes, you're doing a lot, aren't you? Here, have as much as you want.
I saw someone had a picture with Emmy Rossum. I think she did Shameless. The show was Chicago, and they were like fucking, she was like the parent, and it was like 6 years ago, and she looked good. Then it was like they had met her just recently, so like 6 years later, and she looked horrible. And I was like, damn, like, what the fuck happened to her? And she was like, 6 years and 2 kids later, like, that shit'll do it. I was like, damn, like, I'm 6 years and 4 kids later. Is that what the fuck I look like? And it's probably true.
I mean, the thing about aging that's crazy is that if you look just 1 year to the next year, there's not much of a difference. It's like, nah, I look basically the same. But if you take it from like 1 year and then here's 9 years later, you're like,
fuck.
Yo,
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And we were talking about the beers before. If I shaved my facial hair, and I don't even have great facial hair, but if I shave my facial hair, it would sort of be terrifying. Like, it would sort of be terrifying. You know what I'm self-conscious about? I always tell Crystal this. I tell everybody about this, that
your jawline?
this area under my chin.
Oh, that shit?
Yeah, no, the area under my chin.
Yeah.
This very specific area.
Yeah,
I hate that area on me. Because it feels like it's puffed out a little too much. And it's just like a little bit too much there. It's a little too round underneath my chin. Where it's like,
yeah, but who even gives a fuck?
On, dog.
Like, I'm more of like, you ever see those videos and sometimes that like a dad will post it or something like that, but it'll be like a kid, like when they first can talk, like sitting in a chair, and it's like first grade, second grade, and it goes like up until they're like whatever 27 or some shit. It's just so wild to me that like, I mean, I'm 36, but like as you get older, like yeah, you just fucking keep getting older and then you die.
It's life, baby. That's what it is. No escaping it. We're all on that rat wheel of life. Is that the saying? Rat wheel?
I don't think it's rat. Is it hamster wheel?
No, hamster wheel or rat race. I was mixing metaphors there. We're in the rat race of life. We're on the hamster wheel of life. Whatever.
I went to go see it.
All right, time to end it because we're about to die with our brains.
But I saw a magician tonight, and he was like a bad magician, and he pulled a rabbit out of his hat, and I was just like, "You're such a magician! Like, you got to be doing some other shit now."
You guys haven't improved upon this from like 1858. Yeah. What are you doing?
Oh, go Yankees!
Oh man,
Yankees are playing right now. I don't even know what the score is.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're down 2-0.
Oh fuck, they were getting dry. I know they're down
2-0 2-0 in the series. I don't know what the score is right now in the game.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, well, I'll go check that out. People know in the future they're watching this. They'll already know what happened, so we got to catch up to them. So, all right, guys, we love y'all.